Hey y'all. So, to be a Christian, there seems to be a misconception. To be a Christian, people may think, oh, I can't be a Christian. I need to change for that to happen. I need to do something to prove myself to God. Something like that. But what I was just thinking about yesterday, I can't remember how this came about. Maybe it was just the Holy Spirit in me. But what I was thinking about yesterday, you know, God seeks you. And what I mean by that is He seeks you now. He seeks you how you are. He seeks He seeks to use you in spite of yourself, in spite of what you think of yourself. I mean, take Moses for example in Exodus, when when he killed that Egyptian and stuff. Granted, that's not one of the things he brings up, but he killed that Egyptian. And after that, God come to him with a burning bush and says, basically, I think this is difficult. He says, hey dude, I need you. Get off your lazy butt and go to Egypt. I don't think that's exactly what he says, but he basically said that. And Moses says all the stuff, yeah, I'm the old beach, I'm all that. You've shown the wrong message. How can I even speak to these people? But God is determined to use them just as He is. He eventually gives in to one of his peers. He sends Aaron with him, but He uses him just as he is because He wants to use him. Not only because He wants to show His power, but because He loves him and because He knows where he is now. He's he's bound to do it better than he can at any point in his life. Like, he's an outcast in Egypt. He just killed someone he has a yacht to overcome. And God said, you know what? I'm gonna use them. I'm gonna use them to get the Israelites out of Egypt. I've heard their cries. They may not think I've heard their cries, but I've heard them. And I'm gonna send the most unlucky of champions, the most unlucky of heroes, to free them, to talk to Pharaoh and free them. Of course, it's not that easy. Nothing really ever is. But eventually, the Israelites do get free, just like God said they would be. God used Moses in spite of himself, and there's a yard stories in the Bible like that. I mean, to an extent, you could say that's what happened with Saul. I mean, Jesus met him on the road to Damascus, but and he said, "Hey, I'm Jesus who you persecute. You need to." He didn't really say you need to change, but he struck him with a blindness affliction, and because of that, Saul was eventually able to see the glory of God, able to see the glory of Jesus. Not only had he encountered him physically, but he's encountered him spiritually in spite of himself, in spite of what he'd done. And that's often the case with us too. I mean, take me for example. Sometimes this rarely happens, but sometimes I do struggle with a bit of confidence with the devil trying to get inside my head and all that. But in spite of that, God said, no, I'm going to use you. I'm going to use you because I love you. I'm going to use it to show my power in you. I'm going to use you to show you exactly what I'm telling you. I'm going to use you to show you that it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you've done. I don't need you to change. I want you. Well, I should say I don't need you to change to use you. God doesn't need you to change to use you. God wants to use you where you are. Now, in response, you get changes in guys like Moses and Saul in response to Jesus' love. But Jesus doesn't need you to change to use you. I mean, he uses you right where you are. So, if you ever feel unqualified or if you feel maybe overwhelmed by the weight of some responsibility, overwhelmed by a sense that you maybe need to change to have God use you. You don't. It'll more than likely be a response to God's love for you, and a response to how God used you that change is a coming. But God doesn't need you to change to use you. He can, God seeks you. God seeks you just as you are because He wants to show His power, and above all, He loves you and wants to show you that you are worth infinitely more than you think you are. Someone needs that today, I know it. Guys, I love you. I'm praying for you, and I'll see you next week.